How to Friend, week 2, and we're talking about how to make friends and that kind of thing. So here is the thing. When I was in high school, so I was like a freshman in high school, I had this friend, and did I get a boo for that? I'm not a freshman anymore. Freshmen are okay people, all right? Am I right? No. Freshmen? No. All right, they are. We love freshmen. We love all high schoolers and middle schoolers. Okay, so here's the deal. When I was a freshman in high school, I had a friend who was like my best friend all the way up from like elementary school, middle school, that kind of thing. But I kind of mentioned this last week. Friendships change, and the people that you're friends with change like kind of as you get older and as you go through life and you go through different things. By the time we were in high school, our friendship was starting to kind of drift apart. And there were some reasons for why this was the case. One of the reasons is this friend of mine really started to get into drugs, and that there's just no short way to like that was like his deal. And so he tried to hide it from me for a while, and then eventually, but everyone knew, and eventually he was like, no, yeah, like this is what's going on. And one time, I confronted him about it, and he's like, yeah, man, come with me, and I'll show you. I'm like, okay. So I go with him, and he takes me into the woods, and this is a real I know. Well, me, him, and one other guy, and yeah. And so we go in the woods. Now, I didn't take anything. I didn't do anything. I watched them smoke cigarettes, which is not the drugs that they were really into, and that kind of thing. And the whole time I was incredibly uncomfortable. I'm like, man, I don't think you should be doing this. This isn't right. But at the same time, if anyone would have found us, there I would have been amongst people who were passing around and doing illegal things. So it was a situation that I found myself in that I didn't really want to be in, but because of the friends that I had, that was what was going on in my life. This is the kind of person that was influential to my life, and really, I didn't want to get into trouble. Actually, my parents kind of were suspicious and about this whole thing, and kind of came to me like, hey, does your friend, is he doing drugs? When your parents ask you about your friends like that, word's getting around, right? And so it's like, is your friend do drugs? And I'm like, yes. It was like, this is definitely the case. And so, and from there, our friendship deteriorated. But it was one of those things where I'm like, man, this is like somebody that I used to hang out with all the time, and maybe he's kind of leading me one way, and like I don't really want to be involved in where he's going. And so our friendship kind of separated from there. But the thing is, the people that we are around, the people that we hang out with, they have a big impact on our life, right? The people that we hang out with, the people that we're around, they have this huge impact on our life, and there's no way to avoid it, because the friendship that we had played we liked the same things, we did the same things. He says, hey, go to the woods with me and smoke cigarettes and other things. I'm like, okay, I guess so. And then I go and I'm like, no, I don't really think this is the case. But I could have been in trouble. I could have been caught, and it's not like this guy didn't get arrested for this kind of stuff. And so the people that we hang around can have a big impact on our life. Now, here's a question that I kind of want to ask, and kind of going back to hey, decisions that we make, things that we do, how does this impact you, right? And here's the thing, I want you to think about this yourself. Do not answer out loud. I'm not looking for any kind of confession or anything like that, okay? But think about this. What's the last bad decision you made? I really don't want an answer. I really don't. Okay? So this is just for you to think about. Or another way to do this is, when was the last time you made a decision that got you in trouble? right? Not just that it was a bad decision, but it was a bad decision that actually led you to getting in trouble. And here's the thing. I told Amy, I said, Amy, I need a story where friends influenced me to do something stupid or bad. And she goes, you have plenty of those. I was like, great, thanks. Right, yeah. And so, and so that story could have gone a lot worse. Like, I really could have gotten in a lot of trouble because, trust me, there was way worse stuff than cigarettes going around. And so this was a situation where, so I want you to think about it. When's the last time you made a bad decision that led to you getting in trouble? Maybe you got grounded. Maybe you got like someone got on to you. There was some kind of punishment you had to take. You got kicked off of a team. I don't know what it was, but when was the last time you made a bad decision that led to you getting in trouble? And here's the thing. When it comes to our friendships, and it comes to our relationships that we have with people, and the things that they do, right, we aren't just bystanders. We aren't innocent bystanders. We are participants. Does that make sense? We're like the friends that we have, the people that influence us very closely, like they may be doing something that's like not really the wisest thing to do, or they're making a bad decision, and we think, well, that's just them, that doesn't really affect me. But if they're a really close friend, like you're wrapped up in this. Like you are a participant. Now I'm not saying like, if this person commits a crime, you're a criminal too. That's not what I'm getting. But what I'm saying is, you, in your friendships, you're not just a bystander. The things that your friends do, the actions that they take, the influence they have on you is impacting you in some way. You are a participant in the things that your friends do because they influence you. And so, we see that your friends will have a big influence on your quality of life now, right, and where your life ends up later. You might not realize this, but the friends that you have actually impact your life now and can impact your life later, right? Because if you're with people that are not really influencing you in a great way, they're making poor decisions and they're influencing you to make poor decisions, it's not like you just might get in trouble now, but it could kind of derail the rest of your life or set in motion a pattern of events that leads to consequences later on down the road that you're not even aware of at this moment. Right? And so your friends do this, whether you realize it or not. Your friends have a big influence on your life now and your life later. So let me do it this way. Let me kind of put it like this. Let me think about this. So when you have a big decision to make in your life, right? What do? Do you just kind of like, what? When you have a big decision in life to make, what are some examples of big decisions?
College.
College? Getting married? Is that what you said?
Making a commitment.
Make what kind of commitment?
A pet.
A pet, okay. So college, marriage, what else? A pet?
A house.
A house, buying a house? Are you buying a house right now?
No.
Okay. I'm just like, I don't know if you're buying a car, right?
Wait, say it again.
Just big decisions that you have to make.
Like,
You already said one. It's okay.
It's okay. So here's the deal. When you are going to make a big decision, what do?
You
I get scared. I get nervous.
Ask others. You get scared, right? You sleep and you cry. Okay.
Sleep, cry, repeat.
These are not helpful. Okay. So, all right. So what do? I mean, does anyone pray about it? I mean, like, okay, pray about it. Do you weigh your options? Do you literally go, okay, pros and cons? Okay. Yeah. So you may go seek advice from other people, that kind of thing. Here's the deal. In all these big decisions, like where you go to college, who you marry, like if you want to buy a car, things like that. Yeah, you're going to consider your options. You're going to pray about it. You're going to consult other people. You might go research things on the internet, right? There's all these things you might do. But when you make friends with people, how often do you have the same consideration? How often do you go, well, is this person who's going to have a lot of influence on my life someone that I really want to be really close friends with? Like, or is it just kind of like, no, all right. Like, they're kind of fun. I enjoy being around them. Like, they might not make the best decisions, but who cares? Right? And so this is not the lesson of, like, don't hang around people who make bad choices. Right? That's not the point of this lesson. The point of this lesson is realize that the people that are near you actually have a lot of influence on you. Right? That your friends who are close to you, who are close to your circle, they have a lot of influence on you, whether you realize it or not. And so when you think about the people that you bring close into your circle, think, is this person going to influence me in a good way? Are they going to influence me to do the right things? Are they going to influence me to be closer with the Lord? Like, what are they doing? Or is this person really kind of pushing me to the places I don't want to go? Are they leading my life now into a place I don't want to be? Are they leading my future into a place that I don't want to be? And here's the deal. If you know people, you're like, hey, I'm really good friends with this person, and maybe they don't make the best choices, maybe they influence me in a bad way. I'm not saying, like, drop kick that person off the face of the planet. What I'm saying is, like, you can be friends with them, but they might not be the person that you say, you get a lot of influence in my life. Right? Does that make sense? So, I think we can all say that friends are a big deal. Right? Who we have as a friend is a big deal. Now, here's the bad news. Okay? Friends can pull us down. Here's the good news. Friends can pull us up. Right? So it's not a one-way street. Like, friends can be positive influences. Friends can be negative influences. But the truth is, friends are a big deal. And they do influence us. Now, looking at the scripture, the Bible actually does give us some wisdom, some advice on the friends that we choose, the friends that we make, and I really want us to focus on a piece of scripture that comes from a book in the Old Testament called Proverbs. Now, Proverbs is a bunch of wisdom sayings, wisdom literature that was written by a guy named Solomon, who was a king, and he was considered one of the best kings, and he was very rich, very successful, lots of prosperity going on, and he was considered the wisest person to ever live until Jesus, right? So he was the wisest person of his time, and he got that wisdom from the Lord. There's a really interesting story that you can read about in the Bible where Solomon, like, the Lord says, I'll give you anything, and he says, I'll take wisdom. And so the Lord gives him wisdom and wealth and success. And so here's the deal. So Solomon writes Proverbs, and he writes this thing about friendship in Proverbs chapter 12, verse 26. And here's what he says. The righteous choose their friends carefully, but the way of the wicked leads them astray. So let's kind of talk about some words here that maybe you don't really understand, or maybe like you need some clarity. The word righteous, a simple way to think about it is this: people who do the right thing. Right? People who are righteous are people who do the right thing. And so, when you think about that, you can think the people who do the right thing choose their friends carefully. Right? So the people who are the righteous choose their friends carefully. People who do the right things choose their friends carefully. But let's look at the second part of this verse, which is this: but the way of the wicked leads them astray. Right? So the righteous person says, I'm going to very carefully choose who my friends are because I know they influence my life. But the way of the wicked, so wicked people, will lead you astray from righteousness or doing the right thing. So, if you have friends who are not influencing you to live a righteous life or to lead you astray, here's how that plays out. Okay, I want you to hear this right here. I want you to see the screen and see this. Your friends who are not leading you in the right direction, this is how they think. They think about themselves. They think about right now, and they don't have your future or your best interest in mind. Right? The people who want to lead you astray, the friends that aren't leading you in the right direction, they're thinking about themselves. They're not thinking about you, right? And last week we said to be a friend is to serve, right? A real friend is a friend who serves. And so the person that's influencing you in a negative way is only thinking about themselves. And they're only thinking about right now. Hey, do you ever think about, are you guilty of this? I'm only thinking about what's happening in this moment, right? Maybe you've ever heard people say so for instance, you know what? Present Marshall, it really is enjoying this. Who cares about what future Marshall thinks, right? Have you ever thought about yourself that way? You're not thinking about the long term, you're thinking about right now. So here's an example, right? Present you should be studying for a test, right? But you don't really want to, and so you don't. So present you, who doesn't study for your test, is happy because you're not studying for your test and you're doing whatever you want. But future you, tomorrow, when you have to take that test and you don't know any of the material, future you is real upset at past you, right? Because future you gets no consideration. Your future has no consideration. So this is what friends who lead you astray, they don't care about your future. They just care about themselves, and they don't care about you. They just care about now, and they don't have your interest in mind. Now I want you to think, are you that kind of friend to other people? Right? Your friends, do you just, and this is kind of going back to last week, are you not thinking about them? Are you just thinking about right now, and you don't want, you're not thinking about your future, their future, anybody's future, you're just thinking about what's going on right now. I mean, this is wisdom literature, right? Because it's hey, it's not just about the moment, it's about your future. And how are your friends influencing your future? I want you to think about this for a second. Have any of you played darts before? Or archery?
Oh, I played this.
Okay? You ever shot a bow and arrow, you throw darts. You have the target,
Yeah.
right? And then it's or you've gone and shopped at Target. Anybody shopped at Target? Okay. So you have a target, and there's different rings, and they get smaller, and in the middle is what? A bullseye, right? And that's what you're aiming for. Now think about it this way. If we had a bullseye up here, right, and you could kind of chart out your friends, the friends that are closest to you are closest to the middle. And the people who are closest to the middle have the most influence, right? And so if you're going, hey, my three closest friends, they're right here in the bullseye, those people have the most influence in your life. Are they influencing you in a good way, or are they influencing you in a bad way? That's what you have to think about. Then you might have some friends who are not as close friends, maybe they're kind of on the second ring or maybe the third ring. They're a little further out, right? And they have influence on you, but they have far less influence on you because they're not close to the middle, right? And maybe your parents are somewhere on there. Maybe your siblings are way out. I don't know where your siblings are on this target, right? Or maybe your small group leader is somewhere on this target. Maybe your small group leader is somewhere on there. You don't know, where is your small group leader? And where are your parents? Where are your small group? Where are the friends who are righteous, who are trying to lead you in the right direction? Where are they on this target? And where are those people in your life that are leading you astray? Are they close to the middle, or are they kind of on the outside? You're still friends with them, and that's not bad because you should love them, you should pray for them. But if they're going to lead you astray, you don't let them influence you. They don't get close to that target, that bullseye. Now Jesus, if we think about Jesus, and maybe I don't know how much you know about Jesus or know about his disciples, But there's people that followed Jesus, but weren't really like his 12 disciples. They were kind of on the fringe. Like they'd be like on the outside of the target. You know, that third ring. Sorry, I'm sweaty up here in my eyes. And then you have his 12 disciples, and maybe they're like in that second ring, like they're like real close to Jesus. Like they have influence on him, he influences them. But then Jesus had 3 disciples that he was even closer to than the rest. And those 3 are like right there in the middle. They're right in the bullseye. And I want you to think, where are your friends, and who's in the bullseye, who's in the second ring, who's in that third ring? And here's why I want you to think about this. Because the people that are closest to the middle, that are closest to that bullseye, they have the most influence on you. And here's the thing. Is it good influence, or is it bad influence that leads us astray? Because here is the truth, and here's the bottom line for tonight, and I want you to see this. Is the friends that you choose impact your future you will have. The friends that you choose impact the future that you will have. And like you might be sitting here and go, listen, I have never even thought about this. I've never thought that the friends that I spend time with, that I hang out with, that I let come over to my house, I go to their house, we go to the movies, we go whatever we do, we go out to eat, we hang out at school. These friends, the ones that you choose, they have an impact on your future. Will they have a righteous impact on your future, or will they lead you astray? Now, that you have to really figure out. But this never changes. The friends you choose have an impact on your future. There's no doubt about that. So here's what you have to think about. If you want great friendships, right? Today, in the future, whatever, then you need friends who care about you. You need people in your life who want what's best for you. And you want people who care about your future and that will influence you in a positive way. And really, you can think about it like this. Great friendships start with great people. Great friendships start with great people. I mean, that's like the bottom line. That's a baseline. And so you might be thinking, how do we get these friendships? What does that look like? And maybe you're sitting there, and here's the deal. You came to the How to Friend, and you just wish you had friends. No, I'm serious. Like this is a very real thing. And I've been there. Some of our adults, like probably all of our adults have been at that point in their life where they're like, man, I wish I had some more friends. Or I wish that like I had good friends that I could trust. Right? And if that's you, you'll get them. It'll come one day. But it takes a little work, right? It takes time, and it doesn't just happen overnight. But here's some things you can do to get great friends that will influence you in a positive way. The first thing you do this is pray for great friends. Like actually take time and go, like ask the Lord, say, Lord, I want some friends who will influence me in a positive way, that will lead me in a righteous path and not lead me astray. Pray for that. Pray for great friends. Proverbs 27:17 says, iron sharpens iron, one person sharpens another. Do you understand what this verse is saying? This verse is saying that if you have good and righteous friends, you will build each other up to follow the Lord and live a righteous life. But if neither of you care about the other person, neither of you care about your future, you're just going to lead each other astray. Right? So pray for great friends. And then here's the second thing you can do if you want great friendships, is you ask yourself important questions about your friends. Now, I've got some questions here. If you want to write these down, you can write these down. If you just want to think about them in your head, you can think about them in your head. But here are some questions that you might want to ask about your friends. First one is this. Can you count on them to be right decision makers? Can you count on your friends to make right decisions? Right? This is the idea of someone who's righteous. Can you count on your friends to be right decision makers? Second question is this: do they make you not just right, but the wise decision? Do they make not just the right decision, but the wise decision? And if you understand the difference, right, sometimes doing the right thing is not the wise thing. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Right? So it's like the right thing to do would be this, but the wise thing is this. So are they making the wise decision, not just the right decision? Are your friends always caught up in drama?
Sometimes.
You don't have to answer this out loud. Your friends are right next to you. All right. So here's the deal. Think about this. Are your friends always caught up in drama?
Yes.
Right?
You are.
Okay. You don't have to answer this out loud. This is for you to think about. Okay. Do your friends seem to constantly be living in a fallout of bad decisions?
What is that?
Like all you do is make bad decisions.
Your life is just the fallout of bad decision after bad decision.
No.
Right? Is that your friends? Here's another question. And we talked about this. Do your friends have your best interest in mind?
Yeah. Yes.
This is answer silently, please. Okay. Okay. And last one is this. Do your friends treat other people well? Not just you, not just the people in your friend group, but do your friends treat other people well that aren't your friends? Because that's a pretty big indicator of whether or not they're someone who's actually cares about people. Do they treat people well that aren't just in their group? Right? Jesus said to love our neighbor as ourselves. Right? He died for the whole world, and we're called to love everyone. How well do we love the people that aren't our good friends? Right? So, ask yourself these questions about your friends. So pray for great friends and then ask important questions about your friends. So, to wrap up, who you choose as friends really matter. And I'm not saying like the friends that you have that maybe lead you astray. I'm really not saying just get rid of them. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is maybe you need to find people that are going to lead you in the right direction, that care about you, and bring those people closer to the bullseye. Let those people have more influence in your life. And the people that are leading you astray, move their influence a little further out. Because they don't really care about you if they're leading you astray. Let's go ahead and pray. Lord, thank you that you are the best friend that we could have. And Lord, I pray that we would know that and we would experience that and we would not forget that. It's so easy to forget that. But Lord, you are the best friend we can have. You modeled friendship for us. Lord, I pray that we would find friends who influence us to be righteous and to follow you and to love other people well and to care for people and serve people and not let those who lead us astray have the influence on our lives. The friends that we choose now affect our future. And I pray that we would all be people who choose our friends wisely and choose friends that lead us in a righteous way. We ask this in your name. Amen.